The laws, what he calls the 5 laws, are the basic description of the structure of existence. So number 1 is you exist. There's nothing you can do to change that. You can change your form, but you cannot change the fact that you exist. The reason for that, very stupidly simply, is you can't become non-existent because by definition, non-existence doesn't exist. That's its definition, to not exist. Therefore, that which does exist just exists. That's its quality and cannot become that which doesn't exist because there's no such thing as non-existence by definition. So that's number 1. Number 2 is everything is here and now, which basically means space and time are an illusion, a projection of our consciousness. Everything actually exists all at once. It's all accessible right here. You just have to change your frequency in order to access it because that's how they're separated. They're separated by frequency. Just in the same way that TV programs are separated by frequency, even though they may all be running at the same time. Number 3 is the one is the all are the one, which means there is only one thing, and everything that seems different is made out of that one thing because there's nothing else to make anything from. Number 4 is what you put out is what you get back. Sometimes people on Earth translate this as the law of attraction. And something important to say about that, because even though it's not incorrect to say that, well, you have to be the vibration of a thing to attract it, the idea of the way it's usually stated here is, in my opinion, incomplete. And people are left thinking, I have to learn what that vibration is to attract the things that I need in life. That I disagree with. You are already giving off that vibration because that's your natural core. Vibration is to attract what you need in life. If those things aren't manifesting, it's not because you're not the vibration of the attraction. It's that you are blocking them from coming. You're stopping the vibration from bringing them to you with negative and fear-based beliefs. So it's not an issue of having to learn to attract. It's an issue of having to learn to stop blocking what you're attracting naturally. And law number 5 is everything changes except the laws. Those are the structure that don't change. But everything else changes. Perspective, experience, beliefs, it all changes and it's changing constantly. Bashar has even gone so far as to say that the way we actually even experience the concept of time is by actually shifting our consciousness through billions, literally billions of parallel realities every second. So we're constantly shifting like a projector light through a series of film frames to create the illusion of movement and change on our screen, our movie screen of reality. So if you understand that you're flickering through these billions of frames, then everything is changing constantly, and every single moment is a different frame. When you really start to wrap your mind around the fact that that's how reality is being generated by your consciousness, then you know that every moment you're actually going back to zero, and that this sense of continuity from the past to the present to the future is also part of the illusion. You can break your continuity by understanding that you're shifting all the time. So you don't have to learn to shift. You are learning to navigate what frames you're shifting through that are more and more representative of the frames and the realities you prefer.
And do my feelings help me navigate that?
Yes, because your feelings tell you what you believe to be true. And what you believe to be true creates the vibration that navigates you.
And what about timelines then? What do timelines come into play?
Timelines are kind of what I just described. But see, okay, it gets a little bit, we're going into 4th dimensional physics and higher physics here. When I describe the parallel realities as frames, each frame, like a frame on a film strip, has no movement in it, no awareness in it. To create that illusion, you have to go through several frames. That's a timeline. But each parallel reality is nothing but a frozen snapshot. We call timelines parallel realities. That's why it gets a little confusing, because we're looking at the entire experience over time and saying, well, that's a parallel reality. But the seed of the parallel reality is a frozen frame with no experience in it whatsoever, just like on a film strip. You just look at a frozen snapshot, you don't know what's going on. You have to see the next one and the next one and the next one to get a sense of story, to get a sense of movement, to get a sense of where that's going and where it came from. So that's what creates a timeline, is a series of parallel reality snapshots viewed through a perspective of continuity that connects them together. But in truth, the mechanism is telling us that every single moment is a new frame. And if you decide that you want a different frame in that moment, You are jumping to another film strip. And that means, strangely enough, that not only are you changing your present, you're changing your past. Because if you look at it from the space-time concept of continuity, if you change who you are as a person in the present, in a sense, you had to have had a different past to have become that person. That's the way it works in physical reality. So when you change your present, you are actually changing your past as well. You have a different history. Now, you may create it so that you don't remember another history, or you can create it so that you might actually have hints of the history that you used to have before you changed. This is starting to show some of the breakdown in space and time. I'm not saying this is always the case, but some people have recognized this as a phenomenon that they have referred to as the Mandela effect, where some people are remembering a different situation than others who shared the situation with them. And they're both right. They both have a completely different memory, aside from the fact that sometimes we just don't remember things. That's true too. But in some cases, people are very, very clear that they remember something in a certain way, and others are very clear that they remember it completely differently, and both are true, because both are representative of different parallel pasts. Yet they're still agreeing to share a common present, but have the difference of view. So they remember a different past line before they agree to create this present together. So these kinds of things show the flexibility and breakdown of time and space in our consciousness as we become more aware that we are these multidimensional beings shoving ourselves down into a box to pretend that we're not. But that box is now leaking. And so we're starting to get glimpses of the parallel realities we're using to create the timelines we experience, and how we can have more autonomous conscious control over which frames we actually experience from this point forward.